I'm Tamika D. Mallory.
And it's your boy Mysonne, the General.
We are your host of TMI.
Tamika and Mysonne's information, truth, motivation, and inspiration.
New name, new energy, but
same old us.
What's up, Mysonne Lennon? What's the deal?
I am Black, Blessed, and Highly Favored. How you feeling today?
I'm good. It's a lot going on. The seasons are changing. It's getting cooler in New York.
Yeah, it's getting
finally.
risky.
I was so grateful that October 12th, 13th, those days were still 70, 71, 72. But it is time. It's time to let it go.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time to put you a good old jacket and some hoodies on.
You need a hoodie and a jacket. We need to do that. We need to have Sensory and other stylists come on and talk about like what's the attire for the season. Because I'm telling you, like, I don't be knowing what to wear when the seasons first change. I always ask myself, what did you wear last year? Because I don't know where the stuff is.
We need to interview Sensory. That'll be a good
I know,
interview.
because she really, Sensory, listen, Sensory knows, she knows
the
her
stuff.
own show too.
Yeah, she does.
But anywho, Sensory is our stylist for anybody who's listening in. She is little but mighty. For sure.
Cindy.
Oh my God. Here we go with you. Anyway, renaming people. Let's see. What we're going to talk about today? There was so many topics. Oh, okay. Let's talk again. And I guess similar to the diversity, equity, and inclusion conversation that I plan to bring up almost every week and until freedom.
There you go.
I think it's important during this election period to be talking about the two people who are most likely to be elected. Now, at the point of this podcast being released, we would have crossed the end of voter registration and the beginning of early voting in New York City. And, last week was the debate with Mandani, Sliwa, and Cuomo is independent now, running as an independent, formerly Democratic governor of New York State, who many people watched on TV during COVID and fell in love with him all over. People who didn't even know who the governor was in New York, they fell in love with him. People across the country were like, oh my God, Andrew Cuomo. But we, those who are politically astute, people who really pay attention, we know who Andrew Cuomo is. I've told y'all already last week, maybe a week before, he is part of the only group of people, which is white men, who can fall forward in such a drastic way. Some people say it's $20 million that the state has had to pay, but my research shows it's been up to $60 million that the state has had to pay for sexual harassment settlements, right? So this is who Andrew Cuomo is. Did he do some good things? Sure, absolutely. He was the first governor to start assigning or to make it law that a special prosecutor would step in at the point of a police-involved shooting, especially with an unarmed individual. And I was a part of that fight to get him to do it. He did it. There's been some other things. So I'm not going to sit here and try to give his entire record, but I certainly am not going to say that Andrew Cuomo was the worst governor ever, because that's not the case with a lot of things. I would say Eric Adams, I wouldn't say he was the worst mayor ever. I would say that it got to a point with Eric Adams that after a while, you just kind of like, it's too many infractions. It's too much stuff going on. We all know nobody's whistle is 100% clean, but now it's the Trump relationship. It's the supporting, or not supporting, but what would I say? Defending Daniel Penny after he choked to death Jordan Neely, a young man on the train who was houseless, who did not have to die. And I just couldn't believe to hear, what Eric was saying. And then there had been many other instances. So, but it doesn't mean he didn't do some other important things. Curtis Sliwa, right? He's the Republican candidate for mayor of New York City. Now, I know Sliwa, and I used to work with him at ABC Radio. We were at 103.9, which is a new dial. It's not new anymore, but 2015, I think, is when that dial started. Jonathan Mason, who I used to work for as a consultant, he hired me to come in and help with the community engagement for 103.9. And we were in the same building with many of the other stations. And I used to see Curtis Sliwa every day. We talked about his community engagement work, being on the train, stopping violence, the red beret guys with the red jacket. He and I didn't agree on most of anything, but he did have some good community safety points, right? And some other good community safety stuff he'd been involved in. Now you come to Mamdani, right? Now, Mamdani is the Democratic nominee under any other. Every time in my life that I thought about challenging the Democratic nominee, the Democrats would tell me it's blue, period. And we don't go against our nominee. But this time we see something completely different that's happening. Of course, the rules change when a young, progressive, Muslim young man who aligns himself in a lot of ways with Black culture, right? When he becomes the nominee and starts talking about giving people free stuff and changing the way that the system operates so that people will have more, what's the word I'm looking for? Just more equitable services. It's a different term that I want, but that's good. More equitable services, that the rich are not the people who get the most convenience in New York City, and then the rest of us and people who have even less than us will suffer. He wants to try to make it more fair and equitable. Yep. And we support that. He is not inexperienced. He's a New York State assemblyman, right? He has been in government. He also has worked in coalition with many, many people around the city of New York and the state of New York. And so I believe, me and you, we sitting up here, we believe that the brother should be given a chance, because we done gave a chance to every damn body else. Right. We gave a chance to everybody, all these people, right? Even if you were, again, he's been in government, but we've given ample opportunities for other people to get in there and show us what they have. And now we're prepared. This city, I believe, some people kicking and screaming, but I do believe that Mamdani is going to become the next mayor. I do think so.
I believe so too. And I believe that his ideas are just fresh. They meet the people where we are
today.
Just right now, where we are, people are barely surviving. They don't have lunch meat. People are living check to check. And he's talking about how do we circumvent? How do we, figure out a way that all of these things that our community is dealing with, the government shares in that. And that's what the government is supposed to do. That's what I always thought, that the government was supposed to be for the people, by the people. When y'all keep making rules and laws and budgets that don't fit the shit that's going on in the community, why are we doing it? You know what I'm saying? So he's speaking that language, and he seems to have the energy. He seems like he wants to do it. Yeah. They say, oh, he can't do this. I want somebody that wants to change, right? One thing I learned from watching Trump is that if you want to do some shit, it could be the worst shit in the world. You'll find a way to do it. So when I look at Mamdani, I hear someone who actually wants to change. I hear that he actually wants to see citizens happy. He actually wants the community to thrive. So I'm with that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that he does want to see just a fresh difference. And for me, if he puts forth 3 policies or 3 big things that he wants to do, I understand, because I have close friends who work within government, right? Deputy Mayor Tiffany Raspberry is my good friend. And she says to me often, y'all call me up in arms about all the things you want to see happen. And I respect I agree with you on most of it. Where I disagree, we might have some back and forth. But I want you to know that when you are on your way down the hall in City Hall to go get the thing done that you just got off 6 conference calls working on it, figuring it out. Tamika Mallory's feeling the way uptown in this community. Mysonne's got this to say. We gonna figure this out. We got all of it. On the way down the hall, a building halfway falls apart. Something blows up. Migrant buses show up. This thing happens. That thing happens. And as all of these things happen, whatever you are working hard on, right? Because they had plans. And some of it they did. Other things they were never able to get to, because what do they say? Cities, right? The city cities. The city is citying, and things are happening. And so we have to also be able to keep that in mind. So if he's got 3 big things and he gets one of them done, I will of course look at the rest of his portfolio of the work that he's been doing to maintain some of what's happening in the city and increase other things. I want to see him ensure that we still have representation of Black folks within the government. That's important to me and to many other people. And I'm going to, of course, judge him on the full thing. But I want to see this young man succeed, because I think that he is smart. He has what it takes. And I don't want the governor to become the mayor. I'm not interested in that. We did that already.
Yeah, we've seen that.
And thank you for your service. Go somewhere and do something else. We don't want it. And so I do want to say this. I see a thing happening, or I hear it happening, and it's being repeated. This is a thing that is being repeated, that is happening right now. When Donald Trump and Kamala Harris were in a dead heat race, people said, well, I think we should go with Donald Trump, not because I like him, but because she, being Kamala Harris, is not strong enough to stand up to Putin, Netanyahu. They said, he's the one that can go up against these people and keep us out of war and all of that. They were like, them folks don't respect her. They're going to run all over her. Number one, I despise that, because what I know from my studies when we travel to Africa and we go to other places around the world, the women leaders are often the bosses, like the strategists and the muscle in many of these situations. Yep. Just to be clear, right? And the way in which our contribution is often reduced to us being weak or unable to stand up to particular people or things or situations. Meanwhile, y'all was in here talking about cramps. Y'all couldn't handle half of what we go through, from menopause to childbirth to all of that. But that's for another day's show. You laughing?
I'm not laughing.
You laughing? What we
I'm
deal
laughing
with,
because it's funny, actually.
What we deal with is no joke, right? But they said that, and now they put a man in place that some of those same people are like, yo, this guy is a tyrant. Our country is being destroyed worse than it already was. People are losing benefits. Medicaid, Medicare is on the chopping block. Workers are furloughed. I mean, the list goes on and on. Anti-DEI, ICE agents running through the streets. People are unhappy, and the damn wars haven't stopped. And the ceasefire, ain't no ceasefire in Gaza, right? Putin is running around telling Trump, basically, you could kiss my behind because I am where I am. They can make statements and write documents and have press conferences, but the people are still dying. That's right. What you said that you thought he could do hasn't happened. And now they're doing the same thing by saying that they would like to see Cuomo be in office, because they think that if he is the one that's elected, he'll be able to stand up against Trump. He's going to be able to do all these things. He's stronger. And again, a young brown man who has the energy and the energy of the youth, not the stupid youth that way I see on my Facebook page by some of these preachers and so-called leaders, where they talk about these kids like they just dumb, okay? Because they're not. They just tired. They tired of y'all. Okay, that's the issue. But whatever. He has all of that energy. He's smart. He's brilliant. He's all of that. And some people are about to make the decision, the wrong decision, the ridiculous decision of going back to vote for somebody because they believe that he's the best person instead of trying something different so that we can have the opportunity to see a better future for our children and for New York in general and the country, because what happens in New York happens everywhere. So that's the deal.
I just don't understand that logic, because Cuomo's never done anything really that was stand up, with the exception of how he might have handled COVID. And that was just in opposition to how Donald Trump handled it. So anything, you look like a genius when you standing next to an idiot. So that's all that was. But other than that, he really didn't do anything. And then he actually had to leave because there was a scandal. So it's at this point, like I said, Mamdani actually represents core values that I have, right? And that's what it is for me. Now, I don't vote for politicians just merely because of one or two things, but we have to have the same moral compass and core values, and that's how I vote. Everybody votes different, but I'm just listening to a man that has values, who has empathy, who sees human beings, who actually is a human being, who seems human to me. Like we've missed that in government. Like for the last almost a year, like we haven't had that.
What do you mean, y'all? You talking about from the presidential level?
You know what I'm saying? We haven't.
Eric gonna say he care about people.
No, Eric is not a bad guy. It's just that Eric is pro-police in every way. He doesn't even know how to hold.
Popo.
Yeah,
that's Popo and police different.
He with the Popo. Eric don't even know how to tell you that's wrong. He couldn't tell. He looked me in my face and told me that an officer that punched the lady in her face because she was yelling in his face, it was justified. And that's when I'm like, you just too far going with the police shit. We don't see eye to eye at all. Because there's no way that a woman yelling because she's frustrated because he grabbing her boyfriend up justifies a man punching her in the face with all his might till she fell. It's just no way. There's no justification for that to me. So I know he just was all the way with the Popo. You know what I'm saying?
The Popo.
But
you got to put Donald Trump in the middle with the Popo.
But Mamdani, I'm wishing the best. I'm almost positive he will be our next mayor. And I'm gonna be right there with him, and I'm gonna push him too. And we should protest. And we gonna protest you too, Mamdani. Listen,
we gotta Christian you.
We gonna protest your ass too, but we just know that you gonna listen.
All right, my thought of the day. So, The Perfect Neighbor is out. It is a documentary out on Netflix, which is the story of Ajika Owens, or AJ, as she is affectionately called by her family and friends. And it's really not a story about her entire life. No. It is a story about the unfortunate incident and the moments, the days and months leading up.
Actually, it was about almost 2 years.
Leading up to the murder of AJ Owens. I watched the film on the way. But first of all, let me start off by saying I just want to thank the family and the team for thanking me, which, I feel like I did a little part, but I'm sure there are other people who did even more. But they've shown me nothing but love and respect. And we definitely supported and was out there for AJ and making sure that them people were not able to sweep under the rug the murder that took place that day. I mean, I sat and watched it on a plane, and I cried so bad that my neighbor was kind of like, I don't know if I'm supposed to help or what to do. It was tough. It was tough to get through in different moments. Yeah. Even before it got to the most gruesome part, which is where she shot and killed, there's still some other things that happened earlier on that broke my heart. And I would say that one of those things for me was even the notion that the children couldn't be children, because this woman was harassing these kids. Yeah. And for those who may not know what we're talking about, AJ Owens was killed by a white woman. AJ is a black woman, the mother of 4 children. And she was killed by Susan Lorenz on June 2nd of 2023. One shot through a closed locked door after a dispute that was solely based upon the harassment of this white woman in a community. We went there. Monique Presley, Angelo Pinto, yourself. I think Kevin, Trey the Truth was with us. I believe Brother Kevin, God rest his soul, was with us. And we went there and actually walked the grounds to see the entire setup. And one thing we know, or we strongly believe, that where the window is placed on the house of Susan Lorenz, looking directly across at A.J. Owens, she knew exactly when A.J. was walking out of her house, headed over there to Susan Lorenz's house to question her about why she threw skates at those children.
And took the iPad. And like I said, one of the things that upset me was that those kids were just being kids. There's a big old open field. Yeah. The owner of the house that Susan Lorenz lived in tried to put like a little line to separate his small portion of the big open fields. Yeah. The other owner of the big part said, I'm not telling these kids they can't play football here. It kept being said, which I don't know, I had mixed feelings about how people were like, well, I'd rather them play football than steal cars and whatnot, because that's to assume that that's what they would be doing. But nonetheless, it's true. You keep kids busy. Well, they were assuming that just based on the community and based on what they know goes on outside, what a lot of those kids were actually doing. You can tell it's not a very, rich community.
Right.
It's
well-resourced.
Not well-resourced, exactly. So that statement, even though I hate that's the reality, but I wasn't mad about it because they know what can actually be happening. Especially the officers were saying they could be doing a lot. They getting calls all the time, and a lot of these kids is doing shit that that's
it's getting them in trouble, and that's why the use of the field was good. So for my thought of the day today, I want to address people who I see saying, "Well, I wouldn't have let the kids go over there, right? They shouldn't have been playing in that field." Right? Then you have people who say, well, if I was A.J. Owens, I would not have gone over to her house. Why did she go over there? Right? Then there are people who said, well, those kids look bad. Listen to the things that they said to Susan Lorenz. Like, sometimes they would clown her, the Karen, or whatever. And they were like, oh, well, look at that. And I just want people to realize how we have internalized self-hate and worshiping of white people. Because we don't even understand that who we have centered as the person who needs to be protected is this white woman. Mm-hmm. The kids shouldn't have been over there in a yard that does not belong to her. Right? A.J. Owens should not go address somebody for hitting, harming, and constantly harassing her children. And the kids ought to act better. Because, nobody ever did anything to physically harm the lady. Nobody did anything to her property. But the kids ought to act better. Because who has been centered as the person who deserves protection is the white woman. Instead of it being about her behavior. Susan Lorenz is 100% responsible for everything that happened.
Everything.
She is responsible. A.J. Owens didn't do anything wrong. The kids were kids. They deserved to be free. No one else in the neighborhood was calling the police except this one woman who happened to be calling them names, racial slurs, calling them bees, calling them all types of names. And she was allowed. And because a white woman has been centered as the person who deserves the protection, because she is in the center as the one that hands off, accommodate her, don't go over there, don't step into her, don't confront her, don't let the kids talk a certain way, because that is the way that we treat them, it shows you how the police also respond. Because when the cops were dealing with her, whether it be an interrogation or when they went over to her house, they pretty much treat her like, we know that this lady is wrong, but we still feel like this is our grandmother, so we just going to allow her to continue to escalate a problem in this community. Nobody said something has to be done because this cannot go on but for so long. The lady could have got hurt.
Yeah. Once they said she was waving a gun, and at that point it had gone beyond just a dispute. You know, I'm watching the community, and it seemed like everybody else was a community.
They were, even if they didn't get along, they didn't have an issue with the kids.
Yeah, it just seemed like she was the only person that didn't fit inside of that community, and it became a thing. It was like she constantly was calling about those kids, and then even when they showed like the pictures that she had on the phone, the kids wasn't even on her yard. They just was watching her tape them, so now they get in front of the camera like any kid would do. But you know, I think she was dealing with mental health. I definitely believe that she has some mental health issues.
Yeah, you know what it is? You want to know what her mental health is?
Called?
No, seriously.
What is it?
Because racism is a mental health disorder.
But it is. I believe that fueled it. I believe that she was fueled by racism along with mental health. Because when they showed, there was a part where she had got locked in a yard and she started crashing her car into it. It showed that she had rage issues.
Yeah, but this is not, my son.
No, she had. But I'm just telling you. I'm saying I think she had mental health.
No, she had privilege.
I hear you. But I'm just trying to say that well, to me, white privilege and the way that white people react when they have racist thing it's a form of mental health. Yeah. For real. It's just like you don't even understand. Like, why? What are you so mad about? What the fuck? It's just like when you see the Karens that throw themselves on the floor and all that shit. That shit is a mental health thing. And like you said, it's privilege. And I'm watching this lady. She have anger issues, and you can just look. And then they show how, you know, she premeditated. Like, she went and looked up to stand your ground. Like, she knew what she was doing, threw guns in the garbage. Like, she knew what she was doing. But it's like,
she was very intentional.
Why were you that angry about kids?
Yeah, no, but she wasn't angry about kids. She was angry about Black children. And she was angry that she had to live due to her financial situation or whatever the issues may have been in that neighborhood. She believed that she was above those people. And so she is solely responsible for everything that happened.
I'm not taking no responsibility.
I'm not saying you are. I know you're not. I'm saying those people who attempt to make AJ Owens some of the problem because she did not keep her children from going in that area. No, it is wrong. Those kids should have been allowed to be children. And yes, within reason. And I bet you if she was a caring, loving, older person, which by the way, I've met Black old people who can be just like that. You know, but you can't be hitting people's kids with skates, throwing stuff at them like you're doing too much. But if she had been a loving, caring, older person and people knew that she had their children's best interests at heart, sometimes bring them some fruit outside, sometimes whatever. When she would have said, don't come over here, don't do this, or I don't like whatever, everybody would have been saying, you know, Miss So-and-so don't like when we do blah, 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 so we got to have some respect. The parents would have been going, stop aggravating that lady or don't make noise or whatever. But the reason why she wasn't respected is because she did not act as if she deserved it because she didn't respect her neighbors as well. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate there's two things that happen and I'm done with it. But two things that happen is that when the police officers brought Susan Lorenz back to her house to get things a couple of times, the neighbor was going crazy, who happened to be a white woman as well. She was going crazy. She was cussing her out. She was talking crazy, saying all the things, and needed to be somewhere. She don't nobody know how to cuss like Black mamas know how to cuss. She needed to have a Black mama out there with her so the two of them could have cussed her good down because it wasn't even enough cussing and she was cussing down. And I'm saying that being funny, but what I mean is that Susan Lorenz didn't even catch enough of the heat that she should have caught from people. She shot a woman who had 4 children, even with no children. She killed a woman with, at the time, a 3-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 12-year-old. She shot her at 2 minutes after she was on the phone with the police.
1 minute, actually.
or 1 minute after being on the phone with the police, she killed a woman. Are we? Everybody? Okay. So when the police officer comes and he hears the lady across the street and this woman over here with the Miss Lorenz, the white lady, she's feeling uncomfortable about being yelled at and cursed at from across the street. He goes over there to tell this other lady, oh, I didn't come over here. She didn't even let him say calm down. She refused. She refused. And that's why I said she needed 2-3 black mamas out there with her to cuss down on this woman, because that's all we could do to you. That's the only thing we could do is to cuss you out for how you shot and killed a woman and traumatized an entire neighborhood of people who had to see her laid out on the grass or had to learn about it the next day, the day after that the woman who had been harassed in their community, that the police did absolutely nothing to protect them from. They had no protection and no support from a person who was harassing them, who was a tyrant within their community. Nobody did anything. And the final answer is that the woman shot and killed a black mother who was in the community in good space with everybody else except this particular woman. Okay? That to me is the officer's response is so insensitive that you would dare even come across the street. But then the worst part for me, where I really broke and I was through, is where the young boy who's her oldest son, Isaac, he can be seen. At the time, Isaac was 12, right? Because now he's 14. He can be seen on a camera, a video camera. By the way, for people who want to know about why this documentary is so good, it includes no videotape of like a camera crew out videoing people and making scenes. It's all coming from police cameras and ring cameras, right? And of course, audio from the calls and all of that. And that's how they put this thing together. That's how much footage they have that they were able to put together. And so you see Isaac, her oldest son, AJ Owen's oldest son, walking back and forth trying to get help because his mother's been shot. He's trying to get help. And after a while, someone asks him, are you hurt? Are you harmed? And he says, no, I'm not harmed, but my heart is broken.
That's what he said.
That, to me, I don't even know what you say. So I don't even know how anybody comes up with what AJ or somebody else should have done. But it's the Corinne Gaines mindset that Corinne went in her house, cocked her gun and said, you're going to have to come get us. Because everybody's not going to just let you do whatever you want to do to us, policeman. Everybody not going to be okay with it. And that is what separates those of us who are out here in the face of tyranny and white supremacy and all the things that we deal with, the violence against us. We out here, we fight it in person. And other people run in the house and say, keep the doors locked. Don't get in the way.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith tell you, lower your voice. Don't talk so loud. Don't be so boisterous when you talk to the white man.
I ain't got much to say behind that because that was a good read you gave just now. But, it was a very sad story. You asked me to watch it so we could talk about it. And I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning and just started watching it. And I just had eyes full of tears. Just eyes full of tears, just watching the father have to tell the kids that the mother was gone. And just seeing them break down, it was a lot for me. And it just was a lot, man. We just deal with so much in America, and it's worse. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we actually in worse times than it was in 2023, and that's what we're dealing with right now. So, my condolences once again to the family.
Pamela Diaz.
If you did not see this documentary, go see so you could just understand. The family wants people to understand what they had to deal with. So go watch it. It's called The Perfect Neighbor, and I hate the name of it because it's like
it's not, but it has a double entendre.
I guess so. But
and also, let me just make sure to let people know that there is a call to action associated with this film. standinginthe.gap.org. Standinginthe.gap.org is where you can go to learn more about the movement for AJ Owens, and not just for AJ Owens and her family, but the work that is being done by Pamela Diaz, which is the mother. There is a mother of AJ Owens. Like, she's a real person who has real family. Her friend, Takima
AJ
Robinson.
just seems such like a good lady.
Just a chill
she just
chick,
seemed like
right?
she was a mother. They said she just worked every day. She was with her kids. She just didn't, like, there's a lot of people you see her energy and be like, okay, she might been, but that wasn't her. It just seemed like she really didn't want no confrontation with this lady, and wished that the lady just was like, these are kids, like,
It
and
doesn't
she said,
fall to
and
apple.
she actually said, I'm teach my kids manners. I don't care what she says to them. I say, you speak to that lady like she's a woman. She's grown.
Respect.
You don't go over there disrespecting that lady. No matter what she might do, we're not going to do that. And that was just, it was telling about her character, man. So for her to lose her life.
But kids respond to stupidity with stupidity.
Yeah,
that's just the way. You have to elevate yourself so that a child knows. It's certain classrooms you could go in when you were a kid, and you already knew what the energy was going to be.
Yeah.
You already knew, don't come in here with this, that, and the third. You had the one who said, I'm going to support you, I'm going to respect you, but you're going to respect me back. And those are usually the teachers that get the best response and the best out of the children. But you had that teacher that was an asshole, that it was always drama in their classroom, because kids respond and respect. That's just what it is. The lady, she's the whole problem. That's it. That's all I got to say. Standinginthe.gap.org, but go watch The Perfect Neighbor on Netflix. Check it out. Support this family. Share it. Tell everybody else to share it. And just support this family, because they have used Pamela Diaz, AJ's mother has used this story, because you actually see AJ's real body on the ground. She has used it as a Mamie Till moment to show her baby and the story of her baby in the rawest form possible, that many people would have wanted to try to hide or protect, at least protect, I won't say hide. And she's doing the complete opposite to shine a light on what is this called? This is not even vigilantism, because nobody did anything to her, but the Karen syndrome that we see. I see so many videos of it now. I think my algorithm has just shifted, but if it's that many, it's ridiculous. It's a lot. And that stuff can get people hurt. It's a wonder that those people were able to maintain themselves so much in that community for so long, that they never even did. They didn't even fight the lady. But they knew. They knew that she was being allowed to stay in the community harassing them. But at the point that she messed with their children, they had whooped her ass before, they all would have been in jail.
That's a fact.
So the TMI today, Lord have mercy, they done tore up the east wing of the White House.
Trump out here trumping.
Just tore it down. Listen, I'm going to make this quick. We're going to wrap this up, because
wrap him up.
It's a lot of people that's like, I don't think Trump is doing too much. They don't think so. So, every time we give the TMI that got anything to do with Trump, people tell me, oh, no, I actually think
TDS
what
that
he's
Trump
doing.
derangements in.
Oh, they say, well, I think what he's doing is just right. I don't think it's too much at all. But Congress is supposed to vote on, agree upon, and fund renovations to the White House. That's what's supposed to happen. Donald Trump is defying everything. And I know there's some people that say, well, that's good, because now we can see what you can get away with. If Obama had done even a portion, even a slither of the things that are happening now, there would have been literal army, like armed services members that would have took him and his family up out of the White House if they didn't lock him up. It would have never happened. Donald Trump is purposely defying every possible rule or provision that has been designed a certain way to ensure that people are like following a process, right? And he is building his ballroom because he does not intend to leave the White House. This is his new house that he thinks he's going to live in as a dictator for a long period of time, extended period of time. And I, as I watched it, there was some people who were arguing that there's a picture, I think Monique Presley posted it. There's a picture of Barack Obama that's famous running down the hall with Bo, the dog, right? And I think it's Bo, because they eventually got a second dog, but I think it's Bo, running down the East Wing. And I've been in that East Wing many times. I've walked up and down that hall. I've been there for events. I've been there for meetings. I've been to screenings by the screenings that were hosted by the First Lady. So I know the beauty of that hall. And that picture represents what was there when there was some black joy in the White House. I don't know that it has anything to do with that, why he would tear it down, but it would take a cynical, evil motherfucker to say, we just gonna tear it up and not have to go through any approval to do it. So it's all just him setting it up for all the things that's to come and all the rules that are currently being broken. And, I guess he's saying, who gonna check me?
It's exhausting, because that's one thing about this administration is that they work in misdirection, right?
Chaos. They love chaos.
It's misdirection. It's I forgot what's the movie that I watched. It's a movie that John Travolta was in. It was called Swordfish, and he was a spy, and he talked about misdirection, right? And at the end of the movie, he made it seem like he blew up in the ship. And he caused the ship to blow up while he disappeared. And you think he blew up in the ship. But he caused so much of a spectacle everywhere else that what he actually was doing was just getting away. Confusion. And that's what this administration does. Yep. They cause so many different, it's like they're putting up a bunch of fires so they can actually blow something up over there. So you over there trying to put out that fire. So everybody, you don't know what to focus on. And he got you directed all the way over here when actually the real problem is the shit that he's stealing. Because that's what he's doing. Like right now, he's just stealing everything. So he's causing all this commotion. He's got Epstein files, he got this. He don't want you to really focus on Epstein files. He wants you to focus on what's going on with the wars. He wants you to focus on ICE. They coming in the community, so everybody's focusing on that while he's just stealing. Him and his family done made billions of dollars in 10 months. And he's stealing. And he's getting money from other countries, like he's extorting other countries. Like this shit is literally the mob. So it's tiring because every day he's gonna make sure that we have something to talk about so he can pull off the biggest heists in history. If
anybody listening says, what do I do? Like they say they get tired of us telling them all the bad things that's happened. They want to know, what do I do? We are entering the holiday season.
Yeah.
They are expecting you to spend so much money, $1.4 trillion for you, black person, black man, black women. Black man, black woman. They expect you to spend $1.4 trillion. And the most effective plan in this moment that I can think of is to say no. Don't spend a dime. Don't buy a new TV. You don't need it. The TV you got is currently working. You can wait till a different season, a different time. You don't need a new air fryer. They're starting to say those might not be good anyway. You don't need a new whatever. You don't need a new car. You don't need any of that. Hold your money. Things are getting tight out here, and people are experiencing financial hardship. This is a good time to fall back, and it couples as two things. It couples as holding your money for your family's survival and logging your complaint about the way America is operating.
That part.
So hold your money. Hold your money. This week I meant to talk about the No Kings protest, but we don't have any more time, so maybe I'll make it alive.
Sound like a plan to me.
All right, so our guest is coming up. I'm really excited about this sister coming into us to see us to talk about a new, very important project that she has, a new business that she has, and I'm looking forward to watching it grow and doing everything we can to support her. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, so, I get fangirl a little bit sometimes. I've been around all the greats, but there's probably still some that I have not had the opportunity to talk to. And today is one of those moments when we have on our show someone who I consider to be a great voice.
Yes, she is.
A great strategist, a brilliant, Black, beautiful woman. Ashley Allison.
Hey, girl.
A nationally recognized political strategist, communications expert, and the hottest thing that's happening right now is being a CNN commentator that's on there basically every night on the Abby Phillips show, kicking ass and taking damn numbers.
That's right.
But also, I think my first encounters with you, Ashley, were when you were at the Obama.
No, I'm going to go back on you.
Oh, really? Before that?
Yeah. So,
let me tell people,
okay,
and then we can talk about it.
I'm gonna tell you when I first met you.
Okay, cool. So she also was a senior policy advisor in the Obama-Biden administration in the public. Let me see. You were in the public engagement.
Yes.
Okay. See?
Yeah,
and I didn't even write that down. I just know that off the top of my head. But most recently, Ashley did something incredible, which is to purchase The Root. The Root it was Black owned and it became non-Black owned. And now Ashley has purchased this brand back so that we as Black folks can continue to have voices in the media. It's so important to have credible voices in this moment. And if you watch Ashley Allison on CNN, you know what you finna get on The Root, right? But lots of writers and other people involved. This is a real robust business,
yes,
a media enterprise. And we know you're going to be the next media mogul. When I think about Roland Martin and what he has been able to do, people just basically poo-pooed Roland. They said, Roland's not, it ain't going to go anywhere. It's rolling.
It's rolling, right?
It's rolling,
Yeah.
okay? Roland Martin Unfiltered is a thing. Black Star Network is a thing. And in fact, right now, when you're looking for a place to go for real information outside of white media outlets, it's not many places. And Roland is that outlet. He is that network. And for us, in every instance of struggle that we've been engaged in, if no one else was covering it or no one else was talking about it, Roland followed us from the time we started until the time we ended. We always knew we can get audience with him. And when my book was released in February, I did Roland's show twice. Every book tour stop that I went on, Black ladies were showing up saying, I heard you on Roland Martin and I got my ticket. I'm saying that, although this show is not about Roland, but I'm saying that to say there's no place like home.
Yeah.
There's no place like home. So Ashley Allison is building home for us within The Root, and we appreciate you, sis. We love you.
Thank you. That was dope. I didn't take you on the road with me. Hi, girl. Okay, wait. Can I tell the story when we first?
Yes.
You won't remember me, but I remember you. So I lived in New York most of my 20s, and I was here when Sean Bell was murdered.
Oh, wow.
And I was a citizen journalist. So I'm a journalism major undergrad. No, and I was doing stories. This was when YouTube was first coming out, and I had just started Watering Hole, the property that bought The Root that I started. And I reached out to try and get an interview. I interviewed Tish James. And I interviewed you.
Did you?
In Harlem at the
Wow, I do not remember this.
I know, because I was just like, I had my little camera, little camcorder, and you made time for me, and you talked to me for about 30, 40 minutes about social justice reform, what people need to be doing, how we organize. And
I was so young.
We were.
Man. I was so young. I don't even know what I said.
You were great.
I hope you
actually
threw it away.
No,
like,
I think
dump
I still
the footage.
have it. I need to find, but it was great. And that was like, And then I remember started working at the White House, and it's just so there's so many people that
I know
there
you
been
from the White House
different
because I done cussed y'all out over there
I know,
several times.
But you met me at the White House when I was working on police reform.
Yeah.
But I share that story because the through line is consistent.
It is.
Right? And so wherever you go, you have to remain consistent. You have to remain authentic to your voice. And that's what I really hope to bring to the root.
Yeah, you've been humble, although everything was a frenzy all the time. But you absolutely are probably, I would say you're one of the most brilliant minds that we have in the current discourse.
Thank you.
You know these people dumb. Like we listen to dumb people all day that have platforms. So when I hear you and Joy and other brilliant black women like me, like, you know, I'm gonna put myself in there, Brittany Packnett, Angela, it's like, okay, you remind yourself, there's some of us that still, because there's people, I don't even know what's going on.
But you know, then, so I have different lives, right? So I was a former teacher, and that's when the teacher comes out of me and being like, you know, my sister's a teacher too, and she's always like, people are like, the kids can't read. She's like, well, teach them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's your job. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody doesn't know some information, teach them. So I, as an organizer, our job was always to meet people where they are. And I'm willing to meet anybody where they are. Now, I can't make you come on the journey with me, but I will constantly feed you information, you know, to help you.
So you always wanted to be in journalism?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I graduated from Ohio State and left the day after I graduated, packed a U-Haul up and moved to Brooklyn and slept on my cousin's couch for the whole summer. I was starting grad school because I used to work at Boys and Girls High School. And I was delusional. I was like, I'm about to be on the Today Show. You know, like, let me just make a couple phone calls.
Gotta be delusional.
I was like, make a couple phone calls. Instead, I was at BCAT doing sports reporting, okay? Following cricket matches for high school games. But just, I always had it. I always wanted to do it. You know, life lifed, so I had to sunset it for a minute. But a dream deferred is not a dream denied.
Yeah. Well, how did going into the White House and politics at that level, like how did that play into where you are now in your skill set?
Yeah. I actually think it is more me being a teacher. And like, do you know how hard it is to teach high school students from like Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn? Not because they're like troubled youth, but because they're so smart. And like they
the
can
opposite
run
of what people think.
they can run circles around you, and you got to be like, wait a minute, you know. And they taught me a lot, and I used those tactics. I was a special education teacher, and part of the training you do is about differentiated instruction. So each student's brain works differently, and honestly, I didn't really get that when I was a kid. I was always a creative, and I went to Catholic school, and it was like, you got to be very strict. I talk too much. Surprise, you know? My mom was always and they're like, beat it out of her, like break her spirit. She's too rambunctious. And my mom was like, she's not going to be rude, but I'm not going to take it out of her. So then when I go to the White House and I'm talking to police officers and I'm talking to activists, I'm like, my message is not different. So the consistency is there, but how I engage with people will be different because you have to differentiate how you engage with folks. And that, I mean, the rigor you have to work at any White House, but the Obama White House, it was like, this was my sixth finger, you know? I like slept like this, you know? I started working there a month before Michael Brown was murdered.
Wow.
So I felt a great weight and responsibility to show up as an authentic Black person, that it doesn't matter if I have a White House badge. Like, I had a seat at the table, and I needed to make sure I represented people who might not have one, right? And then get the chance to bring people in. So yeah, it was also amazing and fun. And it was like, I worked for the first Black president.
Yeah, and he's super cool,
right? And he's cool, and like we did crazy stuff and great stuff and amazing stuff and transformative stuff, and we got, you know, we didn't get to do everything as well, right?
Right.
But it just taught me how to navigate, how to engage with people. And when things got hard, so like when there were police shootings, it's like, what is your North Star? And if you can't, there'll be many journeys and pathways to get there, but you can never change what your North Star is.
So I'm going to ask you a crazy question.
Oh, boy.
because I hate this that people say it. What do you say when people say that Obama didn't do anything for black people? Like, what is your response to that?
I think those are people who are experiencing pain. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard to acknowledge some things that are happening if you're still experiencing the same pain you had after those 8 years, right? You're like, well, you didn't, So it's frustrating because I know he did, because I watched him do it. Mm-hmm. And I understand it. We didn't get everything right. So I'm not mad. Like, listen, it takes a lot to make me hot. Now, when I get hot, I'm hot. Okay? You don't want to see it. But when I get there, but I'm just like, I try and just listen and be like, I try to understand why they're saying that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, it's like, well, somebody used to say, give me 3 more sentences about that. Like, you said 1, give me 3 more. Can you give me a little more color?
After he didn't do anything for black people, like, tell me something.
Tell me why you think that. Because then once you hear it, you're like, oh, okay. Like, but don't you have better health care now? And, like, oh, your cousin was formerly incarcerated. Don't you know now, like, ban the box is a thing because of President Obama? So, yeah, we didn't get everything right. We didn't get everything done. But I don't hate people who say that. I don't think it's accurate. And I also think that there's a lot more that has to be done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, from everybody.
From everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody. Yeah, everybody.
So, okay. You're on the show. You go in that studio. When you walking in there, tell us. We need to know the juicy part. What are you thinking when you're pulling up to CNN and you like, oh, Lord Jesus? First of all, because they have to hit you, right, and let you know today. They want you today, tomorrow, and the next day.
Because I'm a sign commentator there, like, we try and coordinate schedules ahead of time.
Right.
But the prayer that I always pray, no, it's serious. The prayer I always pray is, Lord, speak to me the way you spoke to Harriet. That is the prayer. I shouldn't say always, but it's the prayer I started praying since 2022, because on election night everybody wants to be on the big table, and I got to be on the table. And so I sent a text to my mom and my aunts and my sister, and I said, okay, get the prayer chains going. I got it. I got the spot, and I sent that text, and I said, pray that God speaks to me the way he spoke to Harriet to lead people to freedom.
Yes, it's the third eye.
Yes.
The one that you can't see. That's right. Yeah.
You can't see. Like the water thing that I just showed y'all the clip, the water thing. Y'all not going to believe this. I did the 4:00 show on CNN, and in the green room for the 4:00 show, we literally had a conversation about how few people have ever spilled water live on the set. I get on... I swear.
No way.
I swear. I can't make it up.
Who were you talking to?
The floor producer.
Okay.
So we were like because you're in the green room. They pour your coffee. They pour your water. They're like, okay, let's come out on the set 5 minutes before. And somebody said, now don't spill this water. He said, there's 2 people I know that have ever spilled water. And we had like a 5-minute conversation. And in my head, I'm like, don't spill the water. Don't spill the water. So I go out. I get on the train, head up, do Abby's show that night. The water spills on the table,
that was Dr. West Cornell West who spilled the water this time.
And I just sat there and I was like, there has to be something here. There has to be
Harriet.
something.
Come on now, come on, Father God.
Yeah,
that's good. Well, it feels like it because I don't know how you do it. Like I don't know.
I love it.
But you don't. You stay really calm. And other people get a little. Excited because it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Yeah. It is a lot. But I believe I'm in my assignment. I 100%, like, I'm a big person of faith. I pray, I meditate. I've been on a spiritual journey for a very long time. I've made mistakes in my life. I feel very grateful to be where I am. I don't take anything I have right now for granted. And I was built for this moment.
I say that all the time, man. I was built and birthed for such a time as this.
I wasn't built for slavery. I wasn't built for civil rights movement, but I was built for this moment.
What do you call this moment?
I think we're on the cusp of going way back, or standing our ground and moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I say all the time, I'm a storyteller, and this is not how my story ends. This is barely chapter 4 of the book. Okay, so if you're like, oh my God, you know, I'm like, you can't rock with me right now.
I know that's right.
I'm going.
I know that's right. Yeah,
we go all the way through. I'm not like,
but I wasn't built for this.
Yes, you were.
I want to live a soft life.
I want to live a soft life too.
I don't want. This is too many. I've been through too many of these things over and over again. People trying to take our rights. People trying. It's almost like I always use this as an example. Like if you're in a carnival. And you know how you pop the heads down, like, you know,
Whack-a-mole.
the whack-a-mole.
Yeah,
like, that's how I feel. Like, bruh, we said leave us alone from last time.
Yeah.
They back, but this time, it's back with a
vengeance.
vengeance.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Tamika. You could be living a fully soft life right now.
I do a little bit.
Yeah, we all
but
do
it's
a
very
little bit.
stressful. It's very stressful.
But you could tap out.
She can't tap
It's
out.
hard.
But you can't.
That's the thing. She
But you
knows she can't.
Because you were built for
Because
this
she'll
moment.
wake up and say, look, we have to do this.
Yes.
She'll send me something and be like, and we be like, and I'll be like, what is this? She was like, yeah, we have to do this. We have to go here. We have to, and I'll be like, we have to organize this. And I'll be like, but you're supposed to be every time she says she going on vacation, it's never a vacation.
Yes.
She's on the phone. She's calling you 1,000 times. She's sending messages. I'm like, ain't you supposed to be on vacation?
Yes.
No, it's not a vacation. I am on vacation.
That's a calling.
It is. And trust and believe. I thank God for it.
Yes.
Because I know that it's not on everybody.
Yes.
Right? So I understand. I think it is also a calling to be able to discern like where you're supposed to be. And that this group of people, which is not just Black, but it is vulnerable people, needs our attention, and you have become a vanguard in some ways, or what do I want to use? I want to use a different term. You've been deputized to go out there and to help fight, chip away.
Yeah, I've lived my life through symbolism a lot. So whatever year the Cat Williams episode came out. Y'all remember that? The beginning of the year.
We still living it out.
We still living it out. So I was in Belize, okay? And it was a rough trip. Shout out to Belize, but it was a rough trip, okay? But the best thing I had ever done, maybe on any vacation, is my friend and I, we did a 3-hour snorkel. Now, I didn't know this, but Belize has the second largest coral reef in the world after the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. Okay, so I'm underwater snorkeling, and all of a sudden I look down, and I've never seen this. There's scuba divers going down, and I'm like, ooh, and then I'm like, whoa, don't you go down. And so like the whole time there's things that are like luring you here and luring you there, and I just kept saying, snorkel, Ashley, snorkel, Ashley, snorkel, and when I came back, I was like, what was that saying to me? And it was 2024, and it was like, yeah, you could go work on the campaign because they'll lure you back. I'm a campaign girl, and I'm like, but that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. That's scuba diving. I don't got the equipment to scuba dive. I don't got the training to scuba dive. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. You're supposed to be snorkeling. Focus. So every time I would get distracted, every time I would be like, here's a shiny object here, I would be like, no, I'm going to build watering hole for the moment. And the moment came faster than I expected, but the opportunity for the route to come, because if I would have gone and worked on the campaign, I mean, the outcome might have still been the same, but I wouldn't have been prepared.
Oh no, you might have been like
I would have missed it.
We might have been coming over to water you literally, like you all right? Because some people probably would have had you like let me draw back on y'all.
So it's like you gotta stay focused. You gotta know focused. Like. Sometimes it's easy to look at somebody's life over there and be like, man, I wish I had that. You don't know what is going on.
Oh, man, we know that.
We know that.
You know?
So do you feel pressure with this new situation?
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. I feel pressure, but I feel a responsibility.
Which feels like pressure.
Pressure. Yeah. I feel a great responsibility because it's a massive platform, and I want to do it right.
That's right.
You know, and I said this in the note I wrote to the readers that we won't always be perfect, but we will have a standard of excellence. And so, you know, I'm an ideas person. My team is like, oh Lord, here she go again. I'm never at a shortage of ideas, but one thing that I've learned in management is like you can't boil the ocean. So what are the things you need to be doing quarter by quarter to build?
I never heard that one. That was a good one. You can't boil the ocean. Okay.
You know? So it's like, what are the things that we need to be doing quarter by quarter to build to be ready for 28, but also to be ready after 28? You know, like I said, this is not how the story ends.
Wait, so we're not going to hear from you all until 28?
Oh, no. I'm saying each quarter.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, no, we I'm saying like
tonight.
26, 27, 28.
To be ready.
But like even after 2028, we're going to have to do work.
Because the rebuilding of the entire nation. Yeah. Like people think, I think that there is a misconceived notion. Is that what you say? Yeah. Misconception from the powers that be, that this thing is only going to harm the groups that they have, that they have a sort of a scarlet letter on. This what they're doing is going to make the entire bottom fall out. Yeah. So many people are going to be harmed as a result, and they believe that rich people will still be in powerful positions, and I'm not saying that that's not true. I think that is true, but whenever you have a society of hurting people, it trickles upward. Yeah. And I don't think they feel that way. Yeah. It's naive. Yeah. Or stupid.
There might be gradations of impact, right? Like, but ultimately people are gonna experience hurt. And the reality is, like, I want to be wrong.
Me too.
I do want to be wrong, because I don't.
So you want us only to be the ones that's
I don't want anybody to be.
But that's already in progress.
Right.
So
now,
like they were lined up by the hundreds at the the King Center in Atlanta. I think it was this weekend. They were going there, federal workers, to get food and other. Yeah. So
I know
it's already happening.
Yeah. And I want it to stop,
please.
And so we'll see.
So you all are going to do entertainment and politics and like the genres that Black folks care about, with entry points for anybody to read and see. But it's not going to just be political.
No.
Okay.
Because I think everything is political.
It is.
I think everything is political.
We figured that out. Like, I never used to. It's crazy. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
you're fine.
I was never into politics, right? Because I didn't believe that none of those things actually affected my life. You in the hood, you like, man, none of us we don't deal with none of that. And then as you start paying attention and you get involved in this, and you realize, well, this is directly affecting why Pookie is out here doing this, and why Pookie ain't got this, and why JoJo ain't got this, and and all of these things, and you don't realize it. And then when you start realizing, it's like this light bulb goes off in your head, and as you bring people to it, and I think that's what my job is in this moment, because there's so many people from my community, like in the hood, that have never had any understanding of politics. So when they see me talking about it, first they be like, "Oh, nobody talking about politics." Then next thing they be like, "What you mean? What you mean that's going on? What does that? How does that affect us?" And then you start explaining it to them, and then they be like, "Whatever," and then they start seeing it.
Right.
And they start actually seeing it, and it's like, wow, this is really actually happening.
Yes. I think about at Boys and Girls, I gained so much weight when I worked there, because I was like, one, the food in New York is so good, right? But two, the only place there was to get food outside was the corner store. No fresh fruit, fresh, right? It was like extra sugary drinks. So either you had to like think ahead, pack a lunch, or eat the school lunch, or have a honey bun for breakfast. Right. You know what I mean? Having a honey bun for breakfast every morning is not healthy.
Absolutely.
And that's a political decision.
Right. A food desert is a political decision. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
The bus not running as frequently, and so you having to leave for work hours before so you can take this bus to this bus to this bus is a political decision. And like, people just don't realize that.
There are people who think you woke up one morning and you just own the route. They have no idea you took the bus to the honey bun, to the thing, to the gain in the way, to be at
the 25 or 26 on Fulton Avenue. Well, from downtown you could take the 26 and cut up this way. I mean, and I don't want to paint this picture of, I grew up very middle class, But, you know, when I left the White House, I was broke.
Yeah, you had to hustle.
Girl, I was sleeping on people's couches and Airbnb my place out to pay my rent.
That's
like,
right.
Broke. There have been, I always tell the story.
You were sleeping on people's couches.
Yes.
So that you could Airbnb your apartment out to pay the rent.
Because I left the White House. I tell this story a lot. Like, I had ended a relationship, so I was really upset about that. Trump had won. You work at the White House for 3 years. I had a really hard portfolio, which was criminal justice reform and police shootings. So, like, all the trauma that happened that I didn't get to experience, like seeing Black people murdered the way we saw for those, that wasn't normal. But having to wake up and act and do something doesn't allow for a lot of
emotions, right?
But that emotion is gonna come out one way or the other. So I found myself being depressed. I didn't know, I couldn't get a job. It was like everybody was so in shock of what, you know, you leave the White House and it's like you can't get back in. You don't got no bed. You know, you have no job. And so I was like trying to get contracts.
That's real.
Couldn't get a contract. Was just struggling, you know, and so you don't make a lot of money at the White House, right? And honestly, I was a teacher in New York City. I went to law school. I worked on a campaign. After I got my law degree, I worked and had like the lowest paying job on the campaign in Ohio. I worked at a nonprofit. I worked at the White House. These were not lucrative jobs, right? So like savings, retirement, all that stuff was happening, but no, savings wasn't actually happening. It was like paycheck to paycheck. You spend, and maybe I wasn't as responsible with my money as I should have been, but like who is in their late 20s, early 30s, right? But yeah, when you leave the White House and I didn't have a job, like at some point the account gets lower and lower. And you got to figure out a way. So I was like, 1 week I would stay with my sister. 1 week I would stay with my friend. 1 week I would go home just to get some money to come in. And then, I like never was like so far off my footing. But yeah, I work 18, 20-hour days every day for like the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last
hustle.
20 years, really.
Yeah. It's being very middle class does not mean that you have not worked hard to get to where you are. I think there's also this idea that if you're middle class, or if you
gotta be poor, then
that's how they feel about activists. That we are not allowed to have a dime. You're supposed to be like destitute, and then we're not.
That's trauma.
Yeah,
that is
we don't care what it is.
Your mama.
It's for your mom. Exactly.
It ain't for me.
And no, that's right.
No, we all deserve it. That's the thing. It's like, I am not the only person that deserves to own a media property. I'm a person that did it, but like, if you want to own something, like, you know how many people looked at me crazy when it wasn't like I was even moving in the dark of night. At one point, once the deal started to happen, I couldn't talk about it.
Right.
But I've been telling people I want to buy a media property for like 3 years.
Right.
And people just heard it and was like, whatever. And I was like, okay, like,
I'm gonna do it.
The train is pulling out the station. Get on or catch me at the next stop. But we moving,
Right.
So it's an undisclosed amount that you purchased this property for, this outlet. But so I just want to know, did you basically stockpile everything from the time that you weren't broke anymore to get ready, or did you have to?
So this was resourced. I have investors, right, that invested in me I ain't like that good. I ain't got that much of a stuff. But no, I had, and that's the thing I want people to understand is that there are opportunities to do this if you have access to the right people. So there were some people I was telling and they believed me. And they were like, we want to help you. And, people would see me and I'd be like, I'm on my way to California. I'm on my way to New York. It would be meeting with
like
people.
The Underground Railroad.
Right. I'm like, I'm just hustling. I'm going to tell, I'm an organizer. You tell 100 people what you're trying to do. You get 10 to actually talk to you about it. You get one that closed the deal. You got it. Right.
That's right.
So that was kind of how, I have investors and it wasn't like all out of the bank account.
So you don't got an Airbnb.
No, I ain't never doing that. Well, Lord, please don't let me have to do it.
It's me and Tamika was having this conversation on our way here about how there's such a need and want for Black media.
Yes.
Right, but it's so we don't have a lot of the resources to be able to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right, and because when I look online, I love to see you and Abby on, and I'd be like, why we don't got our own CNN? Like, right, if we just had our own CNN, then, and that's like the problem that we have in politics right now, because our messaging gets cloudy with everybody else's. Like, black messaging is very clear cut, and the way that we talk to each other, we know the things that we need to say to each other, and we want those things. So, like, what should we be doing right now to support? You know, how do we start building up our own, networks and getting our own media? What should we be doing?
Well, I think you're doing it right now. Like, just having this show is a great step. I think the ability to use the platforms is awesome. It kind of democratizes access to audience. I think collaborating a lot, like working. I ultimately am a coalitions person. That's the most work I've done, is building coalitions. It's like, you don't have to do it by yourself. So you could be on somebody's pod, they could be on yours, and cross promote. And then it's like, if you really want to think about purchasing or acquiring something, talk to somebody who's done it. Like, I at some point will probably do some webinars to say, like, this is how once I get my footing with this, like, this is how you can do it.
You gotta show how you gonna make
it's like,
it
I
work.
don't need to like keep the trade secrets. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how we grow. I can't do it all, so I'm not gonna keep a secret about it. I mean, quite honestly, I laid real low when this deal was happening, because I wanted to tell everybody. I wanted to be like, what should I do? What should I do? But I just legally wasn't able to. So I think those are a couple of ways. But yeah, I think we have a great opportunity to support one another. And then for people who don't want to do media, because it is an ecosystem, right? You have the talent, you have the editors, you have like the folks behind the camera right now that you like can't
Jan
see,
over there.
like keeping our sound tight. You can be in media a lot of different ways, but then there are people who might work and have ad dollars, right? And so if they are invested in different media, they can support our platforms by buying ads, and so that we can become more self-sustainable. Everyone can see a way they can have a role in building a media ecosystem.
So you have to do the webinars, for sure.
Yeah.
Because we need that training to figure out, because you may already be in the spot. You just don't know it. No one has told you that you're doing the thing.
Yes.
And this is how it can benefit not just The Root or the TMI show or the Black Effect Podcast Network or whatever. It actually can, it is an investment in the reimagining of Black culture and like Black life, you know. And I think we're, if nothing else about this moment is a good thing.
Yes.
It is that we will be forced to have to go back to some basics, to have to build with one another, to have to be our own mutual aid, our own support. And that I don't hate that. I don't hate that, but I hate how we got here.
Sure.
And I'm also very concerned about those of our people who will be lost in the midst of it, because not everybody, I have family members that I can tell you don't turn the news on, right? Like they don't, and not even their local news station. They live in places where they need to be, but they don't turn it on. So when the train comes through, they won't even know that it's happening. It's like, it's not top of mind. They're trying to eat and survive and take care of their children. Now, they got brilliant kids. They, their kids are going to college through football, that the whole family has been there supporting the child, making sure he got the education and everything he needs. You got another one that's a dancer. So it's not that they're just, destitute and just hanging out, being trailer park trash. Not at all. But they don't have time to consider the political levers that are engaged, that they are engaged with every day.
Right.
And that it's like we need a place that they will feel comfortable saying, okay, I can get me a little Cardi and Nicki.
Yes, exactly.
And a little trunk
Exactly. Because it's like, that's why when you ask, what are we going to be covering? And we're not going to be all things. You can't be all things to all people. But we will cover culture. We will cover sports. We will cover politics. We probably will have a health and wellness thing. We'll cover, I'm really interested in talking about faith and the state of the Black church and all of that. So we will have those different verticals. So that when people come, or when we go to them, when we show up in their feeds, they know. Because if you actually think about the history of the Black press, right? Like, that was why it was so essential, is because even if they were watching the news, they weren't being told that the train was coming on the news station, right? So you needed the Black newspapers. You needed Jet to run Emmett Till's photo, right? To know what was happening. And so it might show up in a different way because it's digital now and it's not on our coffee table. But we still need to let folks know the train is coming and go to them and say, it's always been like 10% of the community mobilizing and organizing, right? It's never been the masses, right? And we always go to them. That's why do you think the Black church is so important? We would go to the Black church and organize there. We would go to the beauty shops and organize there. Right. We would, I remember doing that when I was a little kid, selling tickets to the local play. We would go through every beauty shop.
Whatever,
and that's how,
by any means
necessary, yeah.
So I have been a person that never wanted to like share space with people whose mentality I felt was so far away from mine. Like, I didn't never want to lend my voice or anything to that until I started watching y'all on Abby show, right? Do you
Abby
feel
show?
What I'm saying, do you feel like it is progressive? Do you feel like that you get it actually, you turn mentalities? Do you feel like when you're saying things that are very potent and real and based on factual, and you're having this conversation with somebody whose ideology is so far, do you actually feel that it's working?
I don't know. I hope so. I try and present the information in such a way to get you to shift, just dare to look at it in a different way. But what I also heard in your question is, like, I used to be like this, where, like, if you didn't agree with me, I didn't want to be around you. And that's not the work environment I live. Like, I love working at CNN. It's been a dream of mine, honestly, since I was a little girl. When the network started, I would watch it at my grandma's house. And when you're in the green room, look, I'll tell the story. My dad died 2.5 years ago, and the first person I talked to when I heard I had to get on the road to go was Scott Jennings. Because Scott had called me about an opportunity to do a speaking engagement with him. And I was like, Scott, I can't talk right now. I'm driving home. My dad is taking his final breaths. Like, I gotta go. And he's like, whoa. Like, what can I do? It wasn't Trump or Biden. No, it was human. My friend Alice Stewart, who tragically died a 1.5 years ago. I mean, we would tussle it out on air. And one night we had a really, really heated exchange, and she could tell I was very upset with her. And she said, let's go get a drink. And we talked about it. Now, neither one of us,
moves from
it. But I do think, I know that everyone doesn't want to do that, and I'm not saying that
because I'm not doing it.
That's right. That's okay.
That's okay. You deputized.
Right. That's okay.
That's your job.
But I look, when Charlie Kirk was murdered, I was seeing what was happening, and I text Scott, and I was like, Scott, why do you think we're in each other's lives? Why? What's happening? Like, what are we supposed to? There has to be something bigger that is happening right now. And it can't be like for more people to be murdered.
Jesus.
And so I just sent him a prayer, and I was like, can we just keep talking? Can we just, it can't keep going like this,
I agree.
And I wasn't like that 5 years ago. I was like, don't talk to me, don't speak to me, don't look at me, don't breathe on me. Like, but I've changed, and now I realize, like, that's my role. And so I think about my friend Alice, who tragically died, every single day. I'm like, I wonder what Alice would say to this debate. I wonder what, But also being around people I don't agree with, it actually makes me,
of course it does,
clear on my thought process.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I engage to the extent that I listen, I read, I hear, I watch Fox News sometimes so I can get the worst of it. I have family members and people who I can't cut off. Even if I wanted to, like they're just going nowhere. And we talk to them. We have a friend that we were talking to the other day who, you know, always has something to say that we don't agree with. Let's just put it that way. And I think it does sharpen your tools. But for me, I have it's like I feel like I'm being gaslit all day when I'm dealing with somebody who is like intentionally spreading misinformation that I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I get it.
It's too much. It gets me too excited.
And that's how I feel, and that's why I ask, because, and I watch, and I'll be like, yes, I'll be looking at you, and I'll be like, yes, that's what I'm saying. And then I look at them, and they'll come back with some shit that I'm like, why would they even say that after she just said that? Or why won't they just agree? Because there's no, like, you box them so in, and they still will not just admit that it's right. And it's just like,
keep watching the show. Shameless plug.
Yes.
Maybe one day I'll get them.
yes,
Maybe one day.
I'm gonna keep watching because I actually enjoy the discourse. I actually enjoy watching you and other brilliant people actually just say the things that I want to say that I'm not able to say in that place. And I be wanting to say, like, I take clips from y'all show and I send it to people like, this is what I'm saying. And the thing is, they'll still be like, yeah, but Obama or this and that. And I'm like, no, we talking about this right here. And they just go over there. So it's just like, but I just want to commend you,
Thank you.
for the ability to do all the things that you are. Like, black women are so many things. Like, and y'all continue to impress me, to make me feel happy, to come from black women. You know, y'all are the mothers of the earth. And just watching y'all just conquer so many things. Like, you said you was going to get this thing, and you did it. You said you was going to be everything that you said, you did.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it is for me. So I'm always in awe, and we always got your back.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
How does your family feel about this? Like, tell me about your family.
My mother is on cloud 9, right?
Her baby.
Where's
your mom from?
We're from Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay,
and
so,
she's still, since my father passed, she stays there half the year, and she's with me half the year.
Good.
Or me and my sister in DC. Okay, so my family, both my parents are from Youngstown. My dad was a fantastic athlete. Like, if you tell anybody who he is in Youngstown, and even sometimes in the state of Ohio, they'll like, Benny Allison was the best basketball player like I've ever seen play.
Wow.
It just happened to me actually last week. I was at a meeting and ran into somebody from Youngstown, white guy, and he was like, your dad was Benny? Oh my God. And then I'm like, okay. But he played basketball, football, and baseball at Ohio State, got drafted by the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates, but decided to go to medical school at Meharry. And so was a family practice doctor for most of the black folks in Youngstown and then eventually in Cleveland. And my mom is a rock star. I'm tall. I'm 5'9". My mom is like 5'3". But she was the head of WIC and Head Start in our hometown. And, you know, she took us a lot of places. I think the range that I have in my life in terms of black experiences, I was in Jack and Jill. I went to the boys.
Very middle class.
Youngstown Jack and Jill was a little different than other Jack and Jill. So I'll just say that. But I was in Jack and Jill, but I also went to the Boys and Girls Club every day after school.
Good.
Because it was
balance.
like balance.
Yeah.
And they both were my friends, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so
that's my life.
You know, it's like the ability to be in all spaces and love black people no matter their environment is what I think is magical about us. So, and I have a sister. She's a teacher. She's she teaches AP Science in DC. And she's like she's like the smartest person ever. Like, when I'm running numbers, I'm like, Keena, what's the carry the 1 to the 2? Like, am I getting this right? Everything I send out, every piece of paper I ever send out, I have her read it for me. She's just, she's brilliant. So, and then I have a lot of cousins and such.
Just family. Yeah. So how'd your mother, I got 2 questions and I'm going to let you go. How does your mother feel about the current state of WIC and social net programs? Like, is she saying this is, because she obviously knows how important it is and how necessary it is. Absolutely. And when people just act like it could be cut It's like, no, you don't understand. And then talk about your love life, because, you know, we got to get in your personal business.
Well, that second question is easy, non-existent, because I'm buying the root. I was buying the root.
You were busy doing that.
I'm busy.
But you got a date, man.
I mean, I'm open. We'll see, you know.
Okay, we're gonna put out some little messages out here.
Yeah,
she's open.
We're matchmaking.
Don't come.
Don't come.
Because I own the root, baby.
No, it ain't even about no root. Don't bring no mess. Okay,
I know that's right.
Mess.
But you got to stop. This is the problem that we have, dear sister. Because I do the same thing. They say that's not the energy.
Okay, bring peace, joy, and love.
That's right.
Bring peace, joy, and love.
No, this is what you should say. You say, I am peace, joy, and love, and I'm looking for someone to match my energy.
I am peace, joy, and love, and I'm looking for someone to match my
energy.
There you go. And don't bring no mess. Okay.
Lord.
But tell us about your mama and let's take it home.
So, you know, the cuts to Wick, that's not the first time that she has seen that happen in her life when she was running the program. Like, I remember her coming home stressed, like, oh my God, they're going to cut our budgets. Like, but she wouldn't be thinking about it because, like, she's like, I'm going to lose my job. She's like, the kids, the babies, you know, they sometimes that's the only meal they get. That's, you know, after school lunches. So, I mean, I think writ large, she's definitely stressed. She's always like, what can I do? What can I do? And I'm like, well, you know, you can help register people to vote. Like, if she's mobile, so I'm like, you know, she went to my high school one day. She registered students to vote. She's involved in we're both Delta, so she does, like, you know, activities through social justice work. But I was like, you should share information. You should talk to your, you know, you can't make assumptions that everyone around you is active and engaged. Right. So, you know.
And she has firsthand knowledge.
Yes.
And I think that's so important to hear from people, because a lot of the younger Black folks, I'm not saying younger like 20, even younger, 50, 40, believe that, well, you got to figure it out. That's why we got to build our own. That's why you got to have your own money. You got to do this, you got to do that. But these programs were set up. They were designed for a reason.
Yes.
WIC, when I first had my son's now 26. I had him, 98, 99. WIC was really, really serious for me. Like, I needed that almost. I'm not saying food stamps should be cut in any way, but that WIC was very, very substantial. Like, we went out, you had the milk and the eggs, the things that, like, basic things. Yes. And I didn't have to use the food stamps to get the things that WIC supplied that was about his health.
Yes, that's the thing. For folks who don't know, it's like WIC actually provides nutritious food for women who are pregnant, because we know that what happens to the baby in utero often impacts their life. Yeah. So it was like getting them healthy from conception to 5 years of age, and then they migrate over into Head Start where they can have healthy. So it is really about, you know, it is a very pro-life.
It's a pro-life
policy, because it is about giving people a healthy lifestyle, giving people access. It's not, you know, people, the tropes are like, oh, people are out there eating steak. That is not what is happening. People are getting nutrition. We just talked about.
But guess what? I want a steak. I want a steak. I want a steak. There's a guy on my Instagram who's like, he's like, people are like, oh my God, you know, what about the immigrants? I don't care. I want to do it. I'll feed them. Let me. He said, my tax dollars go to war crimes in Yemen. He said, I will feed the children. I will get somebody a MRI. It's on me. Yes. And that's how I feel. What's your mom's name?
Fawn.
Miss Fawn. You raised a good one. You and Mr. Allison did a good job. No, it was Mr. Allison. That's your daddy. That's Dr. Allison. Okay.
Yeah, he was like, doc.
That's right, doc.
That's right. Did a great job. Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks for having me.
So we want you to there's a young Black girl in Ohio somewhere, and she's just trying to figure it out, you know, and she doesn't know.
Yeah.
You know, give her some words of encouragement.
You're enough, and you are sufficient. Say it every day until you believe it, and then keep saying it. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You just got to keep going until you figure out what you want to do. And then when you do, don't let anybody tell you don't to. And if they tell you don't trust them.
That's right.
Miss Ashley Allison.
Yes.
Thank you for
The
being
owner
on TMI. The owner
of the
We are here owning.
by way of Watering Hole Media.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. I got it. Look, take me on the road. Let me introduce
come on,
you every
girl.
time.
Nothing but love and praise for Ashley Allison, who came here today. She's amazing. You know,
She's
just
special.
She is. She's one. You know when you be in a room with one of them ones. She's one of them ones.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, she is, and you know, I'm sure there was a time when I pissed them off over there at the White House.
Oh yeah, that's
especially,
that's your job.
But
You gonna piss her-
she's not changed up ever. She's always been very consistent. She's not like a DC person. There's DC people. They have like a DC attitude. Like they can't just say hi. It's all very transactional.
Transactional. Well, she doesn't seem transactional at all. She seems very authentic. You know, just this is the first time that I've actually had a conversation with her. I've seen her before and met her before, but just actually had a conversation with her. And just judging her from her work, I always thought she was just dope. You know, she was always her comeback. She's very witty. But I'm just talking to her today and just getting underneath the surface. That's what I love about our podcast. 'Cause a lot of people do interviews, but we go a little below the surface. We want to know what made you. We want to know about your history. We don't just want to know about the work that you're doing now and you know how you got to fame and the famous stuff. We want to know. We want to know you. I love that we do that and we get people to give us the other side of themselves that's outside of the work.
It was good, but she now has a major responsibility, and that is being, you know, the owner of the Root. There are many people out here who are probably preying on her downfall because it's not easy to manage and to hold up Black media. We know how, you know, we could be talking about all the right things that people say they want to hear, but getting them to click a thing, like a thing, share a thing, subscribe to a channel is not always easy. And so it sounds really good until you get into the nit and grit of it. However, we pray the blood of Jesus over her, every hand that's involved, the editors, the writers, the accountants, the lawyers, the whoever, even somebody who might be cleaning up the building. You know, we pray over them that this vision that she has is realized in a big way, and that it grows. Like I was saying, think about Roland. Roland started out just trying to do his thing, you know, and now his thing has become a big thing. And, you know, I want to see that happen for her because I think there needs to be more than just one person in the space who can be talent and also behind the scenes growing the company. So that's how I feel about it. I'm really excited. I know we need it for sure.
It is definitely needed.
Yep.
I definitely wish her the best, and I know, I manifest it.
It's happening.
It's going to happen. She's going to win. Black media is going to win, and we're going to thrive. So that brings me to my I don't get it. Last week, a couple of weeks ago, Stephen A. Smith had made some not so nice remarks about Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. You chimed in, you know, actually went viral for what you said. I've seen a lot of different people, and, you know, he took offense. He went back and forth. And I think at some point somebody got to him. Because last week, a few days ago, I believe, I don't know exactly which day it was, I seen that he issued an apology. And I had already said something on my YouTube channel, if you want to go so you can see about it, but I wanted to bring it to this show because I need our audience to understand my perspective. Now, he made an apology, and our friend D.L. Hughley had posted it, and he said he accepted it. You know, he gave him grace. He said, you know, I have to admit that the apology was as loud as the disrespect. You used the platform, and I'm going to give you grace, and I accept the apology. I have a different take. You know, I believe in grace. I believe in giving everybody grace. I believe we all make mistakes. We all say things. We all do things. We all learn, and we grow. When you constantly do the same thing and you give an apology, that is a habit. That means that you're conscious of what you're doing, but you're choosing to do it. So when you constantly do the same thing and then you ask for grace and then you give an apology, my mother always told me that the best apology is change behavior. So there is a history of Stephen A. Smith doing the same thing. You know, it wasn't the first time with Jasmine Crockett.
It wasn't?
No.
What else did he say
It was
about that?
Kyrie Irving.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It wasn't the first
Yeah,
time.
this wasn't the first time he's
Jasmine
done it.
Crockett wasn't the first time people were
Yes, this
upset.
wasn't the first time that Stephen A. Smith has utilized his voice and his platform to disparage and discredit black people. This is not the first time. Kyrie Irving was going through a lot of things in his career. You know, he had pretty much almost lost his job. He got traded and all types of things. He lost endorsements. And Stephen A. Smith used his voice every day to demean that man. He lended his voice every day to, over and over and over and over, until somebody he respected had to tell him, like, yo, this is, you know, he's from where we from. And we all grew up in the same people. We have the same people who love and care for us. And what you're doing is not okay. Somebody pulled his coattail. And he said he had to think about it. He didn't think about it that way, that he was using his voice and it was harming him, and he apologized. So we took that apology. So then there was another incident in which Stephen A. Smith utilized his voice to speak about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, a stellar young man, excellent athlete, brilliant young man, doing everything for his community. He actually repeated gossip about Jaylen Brown that discredited him on his public platform with millions of people listening. And didn't even tell him who said it. Said he wouldn't reveal the source that said something negative about the man. And to the point where Jaylen went on a campaign called Release Your Source. Let me know your source. And then they actually had a conversation, and then Stephen A. Smith had to apologize to him. Then there was the Serena situation, where Stephen A. Smith decided to use his voice to talk about Serena, another man's wife, about how a man could do something with his wife, which was out of line. And then the husband actually came to the show. He wasn't there, but they were on the screen, and then he actually issued an apology. Then there's LeBron James' situation, where he criticized LeBron James for doing what any father was supposed to do, provide the necessary resources for their son to succeed. He not only criticized him for it, he kept on demeaning his son every chance he got, until LeBron had to approach him face to face, and he apologized to him.
I think I remember too. Then when the son did well on his own, then he was like, okay, well he's
No, it wasn't that. It's that LeBron James approached that man at the game and told him, stop playing with my son. Like you passed basketball. You talking about me as a father. You passed the line. Like you're going too far. And he had to apologize there. Now we come back again where he finally realizes that the voice, and he's using his voice and his platform to discredit and defame another black person that's doing something positive. And I think for a lot of us, we tired of hearing you say you apologize about the same thing. You know, until you change the behavior, until you start doing something different, until we start seeing some action that shows that you apologize or that you're actually sorry, then I think it's just lip service for a lot of us. You know, I don't want to disparage and I don't want to be at odds with another black man, but at some point you have to own that your responsibility is more than just using your words to apologize. You have to use actions. You have to start moving in a way that shows us that you're for. You say, I don't want, I'm not against y'all. I'm for these people. I want to see things happen. If you really wanted to see things happen, then what you would have did was, prior to speaking about Jasmine Crockett, you would have looked up her resume. You would have understand the accomplishments she had. You would have seen her on the floor and how she conducts herself. You would have seen how brilliant this lady was. You would have never utilized your voice to disparage her. So I just don't get how the man constantly does the same thing and expect a different result. That's called insanity to me. And I'm just not as willing. I don't have the level of grace. Maybe other people do, and it's not that. Maybe you don't even give a fuck about what I think. I'm just saying, but there's a lot of us that are watching you move in a manner that's detrimental to us as black people. And you act like you don't understand that you have a very big platform. And a lot of these people that put you in power, they will allow you to disparage us, but they won't allow you to disparage them. And I watched you defend Jerry Jones when he went through the situation when they talked about him being a young man confronting the black kids at Little Rock High School. And you talked about how he was a good person and this was old. But I never see you do that for us. You always utilizing your voice to disparage even the best of us and then come with an apology. You know, so at this point for me, I just want to see changed behavior, my brother. When I start seeing changed behavior, then I can give you the grace and accept your apology. And I feel like a lot of us feel the same way.
I mean, I don't know. I feel that you know, I don't, the history that you gave is, some of it I kind of know, but I keep saying, because I want to be honest, that I don't listen to him often. So I don't know all the ins and outs and the details of whatever he has or has not done or said and how it impacts people. What I noticed, though, is that over time, I just constantly see black men that I respect saying that this is beyond sports and giving commentary about the commentary that Stephen A. Smith is given. And I, you know, of course, with Kyrie, that's a sensitive topic for me, for us, because we love Kyrie. We have a personal relationship with him, his family, you know, so it's like when you say something about Kyrie, we're listening because we know how hard it is to be a black person, to stand on what you believe in, even if everybody else doesn't agree, but still just to stand on what you believe in. And most of the time, I don't know of a time where what Kyrie has done is something that I would just act like he's the worst person in the world. You know, and he probably would say, I didn't say he was the worst person in the world, but that's how it feels, right? When you want to protect somebody that you know has the purest of intentions with their actions, and you know that they're like literally, again, standing up for what they believe in and also they're fighting a beast. It's a difference between, for me, right? If you say, I don't like, the way that so-and-so sings a song. All right, cool. What I'm going to do? I can't argue that you got to like them, you got to whatever. But if that person as a singer also is out there like speaking against injustice, trying to like fight, the issues and fight for the people in the community, and then you're not just challenging their talent, but then also talking about other things that they're doing, telling them stay out of trouble, don't be making them folks mad, don't get everybody upset, just go to work and do your job. That hits us in a particular place because we know it takes a lot to step outside of just your talent or just whatever people are paying you for, to use your voice in other places. And that's how I think the situation with Jasmine Crockett, it wasn't just me. Like, I said what I know so many people, especially women, are thinking. We hear our brothers saying, we're tired of this, constantly you in your house with your man, and he like, God damn it, hey, Stephen A. Smith, go again. Getting all upset. You see the conversations back and forth. Mm-hmm. You see the post online. You see all of that. And what black women do is when we start feeling like something has gotten to the point where it's stepped out of the professional realm of whatever it is, even if your profession is trolling, right? But their professional realm. And now you're starting to step into things that have to do with our survival. We organize. Tiffany Cross said the same thing on the Native Land podcast. We organize. We get ourselves organized to push back. And that's what I asked. I just asked a question. I didn't say people should or would. I just ask, when will you, if this is how you feel about this at this time? But neither here nor there, whether I said he should be shut down and all of that, whether I said that or not is not even relevant, because I'm not one of the people who keeps him going. So my thoughts and opinions is like whatever. It's up to other people who are his supporters to decide where the line is. Mm-hmm. And when, at which point is that line being crossed? And it's and by the way, I'm not exempt from that line, right? I've been at that line. I've been at the place where people who supported me have decided that for whatever reason, they are challenging me. Just like he can get on TV every day, get on this podcast, wherever he wants. He can say what he wants, say what he believes. People have the right to respond with how they feel about whatever he's saying. So this can't be a one-way street. And I've said several times, I hear, folks keep hitting me up like, well, have you engaged him? Why don't you go on his show? Why don't you go? First of all, in order to go on somebody's show, you have to be invited. People need to stop trying to make it seem like all the onus is on those people who are responding to what they see. Because if he wanted to engage people like me who have a very, very serious, absolutely, I have a serious issue with Jasmine Crockett and like you said, not her record, not the specific things about her record, because I'm sure that I could sit here and say, well, I think Jasmine should have done this or she should have voted this way, or she should have, anybody could do that. But when you start talking about how we speak, right? Basically, the tone and words that we're using, that's policing us. That's tone policing us as Black women. And we have experienced that too much from too many people. We definitely not going to just take it from you, especially as a Black man, right? That's a problem for
And you
us.
shouldn't have to.
No, and we're not going to.
No, but the fact is that a Black man should not want to tone police you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because I see a lot. I don't like the way a lot of people speak. Right? I don't like the way a lot of people speak. I think that and I'm sure people don't like the way I speak. But regardless of when you get to the substance of what Jasmine Crockett does and who she is to us and who she is, especially in this moment, it's evident in the way that so many people have responded with their feelings about this situation. And so when folks say, oh, you should go on his show or you should, I'm here. I spoke to at least 2 people who said, Stephen A. Smith said that he'll have you on his show, that, he don't mind talking to you. I never got a call. It's okay. He doesn't have to. There's a million other people he could talk to. He doesn't never have to talk to me because I said what I said, and I'm cool.
Well, he said he want to have a
is.
town hall now.
Okay, well, he can do whatever he wants and have whoever he wants to be at his town hall, and trust and believe it's okay if I'm not one of those people. I'm completely fine with that. Because I think that my contribution to the conversation has been solidified. And anybody who is not willing to engage me, that's their problem, not mine. Because I could talk to presidents, I could talk to gangsters, I could talk to anybody. And I know how to have conversations. But the truth is the truth, and the truth is the truth. And the line just is where it is. So don't ask me why haven't I talked to Stephen A. Smith, because I gave my phone number and email to the people who said, y'all need to sit down. And I never heard from the brother. So there's that.
And there's that. And that brings us to the end of another episode. Shout out to Ashley Allison for coming up, sharing her story, sharing everything with us. We wishing her nothing but success as the new owner of The Root. That's a big, big task, but I know she's up for it.
She got it.
She got this. And that brings us to the end of another episode. Tamika D. Mallory's not going to always be wrong. I'm not going to always be right, but we will both always, and I mean always, be authentic.
Peace.